Eurobike 2024 has been so intense that there's a few halls that we've not actually yet been to. Hall 11.1 is one such place, which is full of components. Now, one component, one accessory which I've got, which I really try my best not to lose, is the two-stage high volume or high pressure pump from Topeak. This can pump up your forks, your shock, or switch it around and pump your tyres up. So I guard that one with my life. One gadget which I'd like to have is the e-Booster Digital. This can reach 80 PSI in just 50 seconds. That's on a road bike. On a mountain bike, they recommend probably about a minute and a half. In terms of how many times it'll charge on a road bike, about 4 times. Yeah, just gonna switch it on. There you go, folks. For those of you who like battery-operated gadgets, I certainly do. Got to say that I'm slightly jealous of my colleague, the Don's exploits on the Canyon Talk On in the last few months. Seems to be having a great time at bike parks and downhill tracks. I must get myself a Bluegrass legit helmet. Now, this is a full carbon helmet used by Danny Hart on the World Cup circuit. And yeah, it'd be good to get a full face and goggles back on, I think. Funn, you might recognize. We run the pedals on the channel, the Fundamental and the Pythons. We also do kids, bars and grips. I mean, look how dinky those are. I wish those were around when I was a kid. Different colors there. And also we've got high-rise handlebar, which apparently is something that e-mountain bikers are demanding to get more upright position. Maybe it's the age, I don't know. If you think about it, Dakota Norton's been doing pretty well at the World Cup this year with higher-rise bars, especially on the steeper terrain. I've ridden high-rise bars out in California, actually, with a good friend of mine, Craig Corwin. Definitely not to be, something which you definitely should try, that's for sure. Grips are a monumental subject. The different width, different diameter, different texture, different patterns. I've been very fortunate. I've been given the 50th pair of Steve Peat's Monarch grip. Steve Peat being 50 this year. Actually, 20 years ago, he was winning Leger World Cup. This is his second, actually, series win. Martin, do grips affect arm pump?
Yeah, they do, absolutely. And that's something that we focused on a lot in the development of these grips. So with our grips, brief overview, we do it in 2 different texture options. So you've got a knurl texture option or a mushroom texture option, depends what you prefer. 2 different thickness options, and our grips are tapered, so they run thinner on the inside, thicker on the outside.
Why'd you do that?
For shape of your hand, but also to give you a little bit more impact damping on the outside of your palm, which is where you get palm ache, hand ache on long runs.
Is this an age thing? Maybe you kind of like, I always get it there, that bit there.
Yeah, so the other thing that we've done, which we think is relatively unique to this grip, being both a tapered grip and the core that runs through the middle of it, we offset it. So the core actually runs 1 to 2 mil lower through the middle of the grip. And what that does, it gives you more rubber on the top, on the outside of your palm, to give you more impact damping, so that when you're doing long, rough runs, you don't get that palm ache that you can get on some other grips.
Just want to give you a quick overview of the wheels that we use on the channel, the Industry 9 with a Hydra hub. A couple of different versions going on here. We've got the Gravity wheels. On the Gravity wheels, the Hydra Grade 310 and the Hydra Grade 300 V2. This is a carbon rim with aluminium spokes. Then we have aluminium rim with aluminium spokes. Moving on to the Hydra Enduro 300. Now this is aluminium rim with aluminium spokes. And this is a really interesting one. The Hydra Enduro S Classic is a 32 spoke rim and a 28 spoke rim. So I'm really interested in getting a run on that, because when I've done previous testing on really difficult rocky terrain, I sometimes find like a 28 spoke front wheel is actually a good thing to have. Gives you a bit more compliance. So like I said, Hydra hubs on these. We've got different rim widths, different materials, and also different spokes going on the Industry 9 wheel sets. James Heaton, WTB. James, Eurobike is a social event as much as a business event, hence feeling particularly haggard on a Saturday morning. Give me the highlight from WTB, please.
Well, our new tubeless rocket tool is doing really well for us. It's the only tubeless tool or tubeless repair tool on the market that uses reusable anchors that mechanically lock the plug in place in the tyre. So once it's gone in, it can't come back out through the same hole.
Wow, that was a masterclass. Fair dues. Masterclass. It's great coming into hall 11.1. We get into some fine details. We talked about numb hands with Martin Murray from Peaty's. I mean, numb bum is another thing which mountain bikers suffer from. We've been using the Ergon e-mountain bike specific saddles for 7 years on the channel now, but they've got a new SMS Men, which is a mixture of MTB and eMTB, because some of the time when you're riding an e-mountain bike, some of us do lots of long climbs in the mountains, lots of others do downhill descending days like my colleague the Don does. Alex Branch from Ergon, give us the highlights of this new SMS saddle.
All right, yeah, it's the SMS Sportman that we see here. It is a bit more sporty version from the mountain bike saddle we already have. It does have a slight up ramp, just like the real e-mountain bike saddle, but you know, a bit more sporty. It does support you on the e-bike a lot. You got the relief channel. It's a bit shorter, a bit more compact, and it just gives you more movement on the saddle, just as the name suggests, sport. So we wanted a bit more sporty than a bit more comfortable regular one.
And also, you still got a reasonably wide kind of nose area there, because you know when you're riding an e-mountain bike, you need sometimes if the hills are really steep, you need to get on the front. And one thing we should mention: a really well-made saddle as well. Thanks, Alex.
And made in Europe.
Massive amount of R&D goes into Pirelli tyres. You might have seen the Canyon Collective team dominating at World Cup downhill racing. Jose Borges currently leading the E-Enduro World Cup on his Canyon with Pirelli tyres. I think the message from Pirelli at the moment is they're still developing e-mountain bike downhill tyres in terms of the compounds and the tread pattern. What I can tell you is that recently I've been using the downhill tyres on my e-mountain bike and really, really like them. But of course, the Scorpion is still a great tyre. You can run it at low pressure, which is great for technical climbs. Did an e-mountain bike ride the other day, 2 hours, and most of it was actually in zone 4. My colleague behind the camera goes for monumental road bike rides, and he's only in zone 2. On EMBN, I use my Fenix 7 Solar all the time for several reasons. Fitness reasons, to track my kind of efforts during an e-mountain bike ride, and also, as I found out from my sister, to manage my sleep score for places such as Eurobike, where because of the social activity, sleep score goes into the ground. I was going to show you guys some new products here at Garmin, but literally it is the busiest stand at Eurobike. I think that says a lot.